Hey guys, and welcome back to the Crystalline Podcast. We have a better setup. I apologize for my last video. It was the worst, but this podcast is all about self-love, personal growth, and self-worth. I'm your host, Summer Clark. This episode is all about the F word era. I'm not swearing because that is a bad thing to do. And no thank you, demonetization. No thanks. So you'll kind of get what I'm going on about. Kind of like, have you ever been like limited by someone or something, some person that does not align with your purpose and what you're doing, and how that can have like a toll, on your well-being and what you want to do in your life. So that's what we're going to discuss in today's episode. Just not letting people drag you down because that sucks. So we're going to talk about a few things and my stories that kind of like relate and what I learned from them and how you can learn from them too. So stagnation is it's like, if you guys don't know what stagnation, I just think of like a pond that's just been rotting for like ages, and that's like you have to be like, you have to flow like a river rather than being like a pond, and you can't like be around people that are like that. That keep you as a dirty little pond or like a little puddle. You need to be like a flowing river, and you need to go with, what I don't know why I am the way I am. You need to go with what, is right for you. And nobody can tell you what's right for you. You need to figure that one out yourself. And that's easier said than done, isn't it? So limits imposed by others can prevent you from exploring new opportunities, trying new things, and pursuing your interests. This can lead to stagnation, where you feel stuck in your current situation without any room for growth. Again, you need to be that river. Don't be, it's like be water, my friend. So you need to be, you know, flowing. Like I was as a child, like I was kept in like a weird state, and it really annoys me. And it's kind of embarrassing, like looking back, but it's like brought me to where I am today. And like, I guess things would have been a lot different. Like, but I am making it up to myself. This is the greatest thing about being an adult and, paying your own taxes and whatever. You can do things for yourself now. And I'm so sorry if you guys can hear like loads of noise in the background. It's like 40 mile an hour, something winds out there, and it's just crazy. So yeah, okay, so yeah, so I was kept in like this weird childlike state. And it was such a wake-up call for me when I found out I was on like my course for my degree, in which I chose to do myself. I chose to like run away essentially, away from that kind of hold on me. And I studied marine science. So, well, marine biology and so on. And that's not what I wanted to do. I mean, yeah, I loved dolphins when I was a kid, but in reality, that is not what I wanted to do. And and a memory came back recently, and I'll discuss it later, but I was kept in this childlike state of like, oh, you're just a little girl, you can't do anything. Like, you can't do anything. So I never really had any ambition, really, but I was going with the flow. But there were people that were interfering, my parents, who were interfering in what I wanted to do. And you can't let anyone do that. You really got to hold your ground. Nobody can tell you what's right or wrong for you. It's only you, only your gut, your instinct can know this. So yeah, I was the the moment that changed for me when I was on my course, and one of the TAs, the teacher assistants, I guess there's like two. There's like a teacher assistant. Yeah, I don't know what his job title was. We're gonna say a TA. And he, I think it was a lab tech. Yeah, a lab tech. And he pointed out that one of the TAs was like the same age as me. I was like, what? It blew my mind because that really, I don't know why that really struck me, because I was like, I can't believe it. That was a real changing point for me at that moment, because I never realized that I could be more. Like it kind of was. because I was kept at this level of you can't do anything, you're a little girl. That was what I was kept at. And when I realized that I could be more, I was like, oh my gosh, um, she's like got a professional kind of job. And here's me, like basically in school. And it was a changing point that I was like, okay, that's kind of driven me to do better because I just can't believe it. Um, like age-wise, the way I was acting, I was still acting like a little girl. And there was this woman essentially acting her age the way I should have been acting. And that was a real wake-up call for me. And that had happened because I was kept in that little child, like, oh, you're a little girl, you can't do anything kind of state. Even though I kind of had like a silver spoon, I was so spoiled and got everything I wanted. Um, I just can't believe it. I was like, what? She's like the same age as me. It's so weird. And there she was teaching me. It was so weird. Um, but I've decided to make it up, like for myself. Being in that childlike state, like I hadn't been, you know, to like I would say on the ladder. I'm gonna say on the ladder to like where other people are. Like it's a lot. Some of my friends got professional jobs, and there's me. I'm like, what am I doing in my life? Not really like. It's like, oh my gosh. But comparison is the theft of joy. We are all on our own little journeys, and we can't compare ourselves to others because that is like damaging for your mental health because you can crumble and be a if you know what I mean. So that's really not good. But now I'm making it up because I'm gonna go get that psychology degree, which is a jump from marine science. But I'm gonna tell you a story of why I want to go get my psychology degree because, or my doctorate or something. Psychology, that's the path that I want. And it's kind of like a what I've always wanted to do. And there was something else as well. And it was taken away from me because of another thing. We're going to talk about control and how people and how that limits you. Um, so along with that, maybe it was perhaps like a low self-esteem thing as well. Like I did grow up, unfortunately, with constant criticism, and I did have like, it was negativity. Um, but this can chip away at your self-confidence, self-worth. So I obviously didn't believe that I was capable of acting my age and doing things. And so yeah, so it can make you doubt your abilities and potential, and this can hinder your willingness to take risks and challenge yourself. So you really got to watch out for how people are treating you. And I know, like, you can never tell until you get like a different perspective, and it's finding someone my age certainly was a different perspective. So you got to really look at what is wrong with you. No, what is that is playing with your self-esteem. And I know that's really hard. It's like, what? How can I notice that? It's like, what is making you feel like you're incapable of doing anything? And then you avoid it like hell. You burn it, you bury it in the ground, the ashes, in a remote area. No, that's my Ron Swanson coming out, sorry. Um, so yeah, so find what is hindering your progress. You're willing to like explore things in the world. And I know sometimes that could be either a protective parent that aren't understanding you, but again, it really is your instinct that is what's best for you. Okay? So nobody can tell you what's right or wrong for you. Okay? So self-doubt, this actually comes into play with like when others consistently undermine your goals and aspirations, you may start to doubt yourself and your capabilities. Oh my God. Again, nobody can tell you what's right or what's wrong for you. And this can lead to like hesitation in, pursuing your dreams and like settling for less than what you're actually capable of achieving. Your potential is just, it's just there. It's waiting for you. And sometimes it can be limited by like the stories we tell ourselves and, the trauma, the stories we tell ourselves and what we can and can't do. The micro habits as well that we have all taken on can also affect this as well. Um, and it really isn't getting like all the gears going. So watch yourself for like little micro habits. It could be like scrolling. Like again, I am getting rid of my phone as much as I can. I put it in the sock drawer, and that has really helped me do so much. Oh wow. Um, but nobody, like, if someone undermines your goals and aspiration, never talk to them again. Again, also, it's like you shouldn't be telling your dreams until you've made them happen. Like, that's a really good rule. It's like, don't tell anyone until, it's like actions, not words. It's like, don't tell someone, just show them. Like, because people will, like, no matter, everyone loves to put their own opinion. And I've learned that I don't go to people with negative opinions. So it's like I've learned this as a kid. I think I like develop talk about this, but I did learn this. I was like, right, I'm not talking to you because I know exactly what I'm such a bad chess player, but I can predict what people had the way people are gonna behave. And this is probably why I should have been a psychologist. Um, but I was like, okay, I'm not gonna talk to you about it. I'm gonna go to you because you're like a really positive person, and we're gonna talk about this, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. It's like, so you need to look out for people that are positive and negative. You need to be careful with like your dream and who you tell it to, because I know sometimes people like, are always willing, yeah, to just knock it down, but these people haven't, you know, they haven't accomplished anything in their life normally. You'll find that like I have someone who's supposed to be a mentor for me at the minute, and they are not, like, I can just tell that they have not ran a business. They Because someone who is trying to run a business will never knock down anyone else that's trying to run a business. And there was a story about like in a room full of people or something, and there was a business owner, and this little kid told this group, their idea, and everyone laughed except the business owner. So it's like nobody will take you down, if you have an idea or a dream, because they haven't lived up. And that, yeah, that, I guess that goes for people that haven't took on their dreams. They haven't done that, and it's like a weird cycle of like negativity. But if you look for the right person for you, the right mentor, or mentor, your Gandalf, um, they will do what's right for you. They will be what's right for you. And that is like a decision. Like I'm coming from a business point of view, but you have to look at it like that and to say like, you know, it's like I'm not gonna work with you. Like I normally like look at people and I decide just like, okay, so I wouldn't work with you. Like I do go to a lot of courses and like workshops, and sometimes I meet people, I'm just like, no. There was someone I met and he was like, I said my idea actually, and he was like, no. And I was like, I'm not going to work with you because one, you're incredibly pretentious, and I really try to avoid being that and try to stay humble as much as I can. But the fact is just like no, because if you're like in charge of people and you said no to someone, it's like you need to be more constructive with your criticism. You need to tell them it's like that's a great idea, but we're gonna go with something else right now. Or like you don't just say no. Oh, I could punch them. Get demonetized for violence. Damn. Um, but don't like like I don't know, like it really does have a toll on you, but you really got to look at it from their point of view and just look at their situation and what they grew up with and what they've dealt with. And you can knock what you want to do at the park, like honestly, because you're given the dream, the vision, because you're supposed to fulfill it. You don't have to listen to anyone if you don't want to. Again, it's your choice. And I think I was actually going to discuss this in my last podcast episode, but I had like a breakdown. I couldn't film it. It was really funny. So I'm going to bring it up now. So you don't have to deal with anyone you if you don't want to. Actually, now I'm writing this in my book. So, spoiler. So like I met someone at like a job interview, and I would never know this person in real life if it wasn't for this job in real life, in my life, if it wasn't for this job interview. And I said that I, you know, I just wouldn't have them in my life. And I think I remember watching them cross the street. No, I remember being there was a moment in time where I saw them across the street and I was just like, I don't have to talk to them if I don't want to. And that really is a choice. It's a choice for you to, your vibe is your tribe kind of thing. It's like, you don't have to tolerate people if you don't want to. And it goes for this, you know. Um, but I do thrive off proving people wrong sometimes. But it really does chip away at I don't think that's the healthiest thing to do because it can chip away at you. But again, look at, their backgrounds and say, screw you, sir, I don't need you. And the majority of time, you don't. It's like, oh, gosh, there have been countless people that have been told, certain things like they can't do it. And, they're proven, like the guy that ran the 4 minute mile, they were like, you can't do that. And just like, he did. So don't ever, feel like you can't do something. Most of the time you can. It's just people do like to give them their own input, and their input is influenced by their background. So knock them out of the park, honestly. Um, yeah, again, limited perspectives. Yeah, so people who limit your personal growth may have their own biases, like I just said, and fears that prevent them from seeing your true potential, which I just said. Oh my God, I'm a genius. So as a result, they may discourage you from pursuing paths that they deem risky or unconventional. Wow, wow, wow. So, without considering your unique strengths or aspirations, yeah, people have their own input on things and they should shut up. No, they should, because, you know, you've got to make that decision. You'll be like, okay, so no, I'm not going to work with you. Just think like that. It's just like, I'm not going to work with you on my journey throughout life. No, because if you're bringing me down, it's like I deserve more respect than that. So no, goodbye. See you later. We don't know her. She's gone. So missed opportunities. Yeah. Okay, so being held back from others can prevent you from seizing opportunities, learning, growth, and development. This can hinder your ability to reach your full potential in a fulfilling life. Knife? What? Beautifully. No. So I've learnt this throughout my life. Not throughout my life, but like recently, and I don't know if anyone can relate, but I have learned to do things by myself a lot of the time. This really annoys me. Well, it doesn't really annoy me. It would be nice to have someone there. But, and this is why I was like, this is why I'm self-partnered, because I'm the only one that can do it right. I that was more for protection because I was like really grossed out by the behaviors of some men, and I was like, no, I'm self-partnered, go away. It's like I'm not interested, and I'm genuinely not interested because I did try to date recently, like a dating app, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just not interested. And that kind of goes against the woo way of like that's like my religion, if that's a religion, like Taoism. Like it goes against wu wei, which is like forcing things. It's like action, non-action. So action from non-action. So the right things that be the river, it'll flow, and then I'll hit a rock and I'll be like, you're my true love. No, I don't know. So, but it happened with my friend. I love her. I'm gonna call her out. No, it wasn't that bad, but it was genuinely like, I want to join a running club, and they run every like weekend, and I'm like, I want to go, but her job hinders her like that, and that has a domino effect on me, and I have to run by myself. So, fine. But you do get used to doing things by yourself. Robin Williams actually did say it's like the people, what is it? The people, he always thought the worst thing would be to end up alone, but unfortunately, like, but actually, it's being surrounded by people that make you feel alone. And it's like, damn, Robin, you dropped a deep. That's so, ow, that's so true. And if people are making you feel like you're alone at the park, we didn't know them because no, because that's not right. You shouldn't be surrounded by people that are making you feel like that are holding you back from, things that you want to do. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to jump your own hurdles. Like, and that sucks, but that's so empowering. Like, I've actually forgotten how scary it can be, like going to like new places, like because I do go to a lot of workshops and like going there and meeting new people, like networking events. I've got used to it and I'm not even scared of it anymore. That's like a hurdle I have like buried in the ground. It's got growth over it now. It doesn't exist. Like that is, you know, and that's like quite an accomplishment. And some people can't even think about doing that. Like I remember I would never be in a Skype call of like new people because there was a lot of Zoom. Skype, what? Who's that? No, a Zoom, like I would never do that and talk to people, but there was a weird hurdle I jumped over and I could do that. But, you know, it's like think of all the opportunities that, I'd missed because I had like limited myself in that area. Like it's so odd, isn't it? But don't, I would have never learned all the things that I've learned now. But don't, it's like easier said than done. It's like, don't ever hold yourself back. It's like, well, you do have like fear thing. That's a really odd, I don't know what to say on that really, because it's like, it goes more in depth than you think, because you gotta learn how to, you know, uh, it's practice, isn't it? The more you do it, it's like, be scared, be the first pancake, be absolute ooh, I saw be absolute awful in what you're doing at first, because the first pancake is never going to be the best. Okay, so then you have to keep going and making better pancakes. So I used to suck at making pancakes. Now I make the best pancakes: apple, cinnamon, and white chocolate. I don't know what that does. I love them. They're so good. I really want some right now. Oh dang. So yeah, do things, by yourself, even though they're really hard to do them, but you've only got you to depend on. Sometimes it's really hard to depend on other people. You can't always rely on other people. And again, I've learned not to do that. And that's why I'm like self-partnered. And, I just super hyper independent. It's quite disturbing. But fine. I guess I got a bit interesting. It's gonna have a cry moment. Okay, so again, someone's constant criticism. Bad. No, we don't want that. Um, and it's okay to walk away from it also. So putting down someone's dreams, when someone put when someone puts down someone's dreams, it can corrode their confidence and make them feel hesitant to pursue their goals. Like don't ever again, like we're going back to like no one who no one will ever take the mickey out of you for your dream, you know? No, the right person, the right people will never criticize your dreams. So you really have to be cautious in who you talk to. So that goes with that. So controlling behavior again, like, and I recently, like, I remembered a story, a memory that my that I was in a bookshop with my nan actually. Um, but controlling like people, like I'm gonna I don't know where to start with this one. So people who try to control every aspect of another person's lives limit their opportunities to growth and independence. This can, be through micromanagement, isolation, and emotional manipulation. Again, manipulation. I think that it was from when I was treated like I was still like, oh, little girl, no, you can't do anything. You're harmless. So that like I remembered she had this story, this memory. I remember this memory when I was in a bookshop with my mom, my nan, and I was in high school, and I was like in my last years or something, and I picked up two books, and I was like to my nan, because she bought everything, bless her heart, because I was spoiled. And I was like, I want these books because I want to, be a therapist. I want to be a psychologist. And this also happened again with um my ex, because again, I want to write books, and I kept like this secret, and I was writing books, and I was just writing and writing and writing this book on this laptop that I got from like school or something. I don't know, it was like an old laptop. And I remember being at my nan's writing and la di da, and it was like so dramatic. And he read it, and then he said, "Have you seen an episode of Futurama where basically that was the storyline?" I should have took it as like, okay, so my writing's at the level of Futurama, and that's like a really good cartoon. But I was like really young, and I loved it. I love writing, and and I definitely truly believe that might be my guy. Like I always thought it was like the podcasts and stuff like that, but in reality, like looking back, it's like maybe it's like writing, but I can't write fiction. It's always non-fiction for me. And I always get like such a tickle. And I'm like, oh, I love it. I really can't pinpoint make a guy, to be honest. It's like it's got to be something. I don't know. One of them. I don't know. Don't think too much into it, but like I want it to be. I know exactly what I want it to be. In like I was like, I want to be a therapist, and writing does come along with that, and it's non-fiction. Or is it fiction? No, it's non-fiction. I was confused. I don't know why. I was like, yes, it's the best. It's what I want to do. And of course, my mom was like, you can sing. You're going in no. What did you put me in? Performing arts. And it was horrible. It was just not for me. Ah, the bullying. Ah, the tears. um, but that obviously hindered a lot of my progress throughout life. And this is why I'm gonna take it upon myself to now do my psychology degree, because that was kind of taken away from me. And it's never too late to do what you want to do. If someone's telling you a story of like, oh, you're too old to do it, it's like, no, if you feel the instinct, the drive, the pull to do something, you do it. Except build an atomic bomb. We don't want that. So you do it, because you know, it's your dream. It's your thing that you want to do. Why would you listen to someone else that didn't pursue their dreams? Why? It's stupid. No. um so unrealistic expectations, like having unreasonably high standards or expectations. Oh my gosh, this happened to my ex. He was just like the proof of this. Because it can be really detrimental. No, it can be really like paralyzing, and it can make them feel like they'll never be good enough. If you give them like, high achieving goals, and just like this like mindset of like you just never be good enough, and having these expectations. And he could do everything. He could fly a plane, he could do a lot, play piano, he could do a lot. And he's now still working at like a garage, like petrol station, and fuel station. I don't know. For you guys listeners, I'm trying to be the best. I'm kidding. Um, and you can see how much it crushed him, because he had high expectations to do everything, and he just went depressed, like massively. And I'm like, bro, dead. He's a good guy. Got married recently. Um, but yeah, you do see that. It's like, don't, you know, only do. Wait, is this in that book, Seven Habits of Highly Successful People? I think where the guy's son kept pushing him to do baseball or something. Oh my goodness, there's a quote. You're gonna have to go read that book, Soz. Where they basically encouraged him to do something he wasn't good at. So you need to look at your child's talents, like push them to do that. Unfortunately, my mum did do that with my singing. She pushed me in performing arts. Like that was wrong because she should have put me in music, or you should have sat me down and asked me what I wanted to do, mummy. Not having a moment, it's funny. You should have asked me, and I would have told you I want to be a therapist. She would have probably crushed that dream anyway. Um, my sister knows it. Okay, so. Okay, so like a support. So at this, so not having someone who believes in you and your dreams can make it so much harder to achieve them, and this can be especially damaging from parents, teachers, or close friends. These people. Again, I will say it over and over again. Only you know what's right for you. You have to be stubborn. You have to stand your ground. You know what's best for you, because it can be a matter of like years in the future where you're working at McDonald's. Like honestly, like you need to do what's right for you. Ignore everyone. They don't have a say. um because you know, and I learnt this actually from such a young age. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's very much like I remain silent from around those that will only belittle you. Like, and I definitely learned that lesson because it was just like, you know, I didn't grow up in the environment where I could say, I want to be an astronaut. And they would just be like, oh, well, you have to have this and this and this and this and this. It was just like, boom, boom, boom. It's like just whacking me with a negative hammer. Like, I was like the mole. And it was just like, yeah, no, it wasn't great environment. And but that's okay because I think my throat's going. That's okay because I can take that back for myself and I can do what I want to do now because I am an adult and I want to, be a psychologist and I will be a psychologist and I will struggle for many months to be a psychologist, but I will. And that's what I want. I want to get my degree in psychology and I will be a writer. So, it's kind of like I can't swear, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like that for those guys because, you know, maybe, you're not where you want to be right now, but you can take action and control for it. There's no, there's nothing really stopping you, like just your ability to not do it. If it's like a thing like money, people like there was a guy that bought a Ferrari, wasn't it? And he started off a tea bag with an actual tea bag, like coffee, drink, beverage. Um, yeah, he started off with that at like eBay and he kept selling and reselling. And I think he had like a Ferrari. So it's like, don't like you can do things, okay? You can do things. Um, it's like it's completely possible. It's only if you choose to believe that's not. And I know it's hard because we have been brought up with that negative hammer. I'm kidding. You know, choice is up to you. You can take the action you want or not. Um, it's never too late to do anything. You want to go to Paris? Go to Paris. It's fine. Treat yourself. Um, so again, promoting fear. This is so toxic. Um, ins- Instilling fear of failure or taking risk can prevent someone from stepping outside their comfort zone and reaching their full potential. Like I always thought, like I was like, okay, so not everything's gonna be on my doorstep. Like there are things that I want to do, but it's not gonna be on my doorstep. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go out there and find it. It's like, and I had this, oh my gosh, so toxic in my household. Oh, my mom was not happy. she started treating me quite badly, started yelling at me. Well, not yelling at me, but really being, and I think it was just her way of coping with me leaving for like uni and stuff. But like I was treated quite harshly, and I'm like, just remain silent and don't do anything. Can't remember if I did or not. I remember once getting kicked out. It's quite hilarious. um, very much disagrees. Yeah, so that is really toxic. But again, that is self-respect. That's knowing what you want to do. Um, don't let people instill fear into you, because most of the time it's their own fear, and that's actually nothing to do with you, because it's only you can tell what's right for you. What have I written there? So you'll never miss out on something you fear. Perhaps I meant like, you know, again, it's like fear is like fear is really silly, and it is completely overfabricated in your mind and it's made up. And the best advice for me is just to do it anyway. It's like feel the fear and do it anyway. There's actually a book called that by Susan Jeffers. She's the best. Read it. It's great. Taught me all about responsibility and taking it on. Um, but yeah, fear can really restrict us. And when people imply it through negativity, super toxic, don't listen to them. Listen to your instinct. Listen to your instinct. I've once been told, actually, I was so scared of, because when I passed my test, I was really scared of parking in places. I was like, is that okay to park there? Is that right? That's not going to be in the way, is it? And I had a member of my family turn around and say, if it was a fire truck, they'll just ram into it anyway. What? Like, I am so scared of, like, you know, that. And it's like, you cannot allow that to limit your potential. Like, honestly, if I'd have looked back, I would have looked at like ways to park. I would have Googled it. I would have been like, la di da. But yeah, I would never ever allow someone to talk to me like that. And that's for you. You need to find that place of self-respect. You need to stand up for yourself and figure out what's right for you. Don't allow other people to, imply assert their fears onto you, because you're going places and they're not. And the reason they're not is because they didn't take the risk to go anywhere. So really don't, allow these morons to cripple you into not achieving your potential. Okay, so like guys, I think that's it. Um, so guys, if you don't mind, like there's this feedback form in the description. Like I really need it for market research, and I really need to make this podcast the best for you. And if you fill out the form, there is a chance to win one of my journals that I'm going to be pre-launching very soon. What hell? No, and that will be ready and available for pre-order soon. And I'm super excited about that. And I really hope you guys got something from this and learned something new and decided to, knock people out of the park that you don't need, because there is really no need for people to hold you back, and there's really no need for you to listen. Like, again, you're the gatekeeper of your mind. Like, do not allow people to have their input if it's negative. Just say, I respect that, but it doesn't align with my values. And just, you don't need them. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. This has been the Crystalline Podcast, and I've been your host, Summer Clark.